Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We're going to begin our class today with a journal. So you can answer either tell me about your favorite memory or imagine your life as a novel and write me an excerpt from it. You guys have 3 minutes. Take about another minute. Okay. Does anyone want to share theirs? Tina.
Okay. On my 16th birthday, I came outside and there was a car I did not recognize with a huge bow. Slightly used but new to me, I discovered this vehicle now belonged to me. I was so happy and excited that I screamed out loud. This didn't really happen.
That's what you wanted to happen for your birthday? Okay. Anybody else? No? Savannah?
Savannah woke up this morning and couldn't breathe. She got up and made some tea, but it didn't help. Then she came to school and her friend gave her some medicine and she's feeling much better. So she said, "Thank you, Ashley."
Okay. All right, make sure you keep your journal entries. We're gonna get back to them. They play a bigger part in this new unit we are starting today. But first I need someone to come and write on the board for me. Who wants to come up?
You can do that.
Melissa. You can just erase that. And I want you to write nonfiction and fiction and draw a line between them. I can't really reach up there. Do you want me to do it for you?
No, it's fine. I'm in 6th grade, I wear high heels.
You guys are in 8th grade, so it's okay. Alright, now who wants to raise their hand and give Melissa either a characteristic of fiction or nonfiction to write on the board? You can use examples, different genres. Marjorie?
Fiction is not real.
Thank you. Ashley?
Nonfiction is boring.
Okay. Savannah?
Nonfiction is real. It's true events,
Okay.
like history or something. History being an example.
Good job, you gave us 2.
I did.
April?
In fiction, you can make up your own rules.
Okay. Anybody else?
Leave me hanging.
No. Jamie?
Fiction is more like fantasy
stuff like vampires and
Harry Potter.
Okay. So, thanks, Melissa. You can sit down. All right, we are going to look at a presentation real quick. Okay, so we are doing a unit on nonfiction starting today. So let's just see what it is all about. So first off, what is nonfiction? It's the branch of literature comprising works of narrative, prose, dealing with or offering opinions or conjectures on facts and realities, including biographies, histories, and essays, opposed to fiction and distinguished from poetry and drama. Okay, so that's a really lengthy sentence. That's a definition you get from the dictionary, but let's break it down a little further. Okay. So what's included? Nonfiction, like the definition said, is biographies, autobiographies, histories, journals, documentaries, and you guys are more familiar with this, textbooks. They're based on facts and reality, meaning that anybody can research it and back up what you say. The purpose is more to inform you than it is to tell a story. And examples of that are Helen Keller, The Story of My Life, and then Justin Bieber's First Step to Forever, My Story. It's his written autobiography. And to understand really what nonfiction is, it's easier to understand what it isn't. So fiction is, of course, not factual. It's imaginary or theoretical. There's three main types of it, which are realistic, non-realistic, and semi-fiction, which is the most confusing because semi-fiction actually deals with more non-fictional material, but since there is elements of fiction in there, it automatically qualifies as fiction. And of course, there's the elements of fiction, which is the plot, the exposition. You have foreshadowing, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, and conflict. And examples of that are Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and I'm sure you guys can think of countless other ones. Let's see. But that's still kind of a lot. So here is a really easy way to remember it. You can only say no once. Fiction equals not true, and nonfiction equals true. That's a really easy way for you guys to remember it if you get confused between which is which. So we're going to look at some examples. Can everybody see the tiny little numbers? Yeah. Okay. Who can tell me what if number one is fiction or nonfiction? Matt?
It'd be nonfiction
Yes. Why?
because it's a game show. I mean, it's really happening.
Yes.
It's not scripted.
Perfect.
No.
Okay, what about number two? Ashley,
it's fiction.
why is it fiction?
Well, because it's scripted and they're probably ad-libbing stuff.
Does anyone know what type of fiction this would be?
Situation common.
It's
Realistic?
semi-fiction
Oh, yeah.
because it's based
Really?
on her life and the interview real people, but it's still acted out and edited, right?
But is it a real person? Is she real?
Number two's the Katy Perry
Oh,
one.
wait, I'm
Oh,
on the wrong.
oh,
yeah, I
no.
thought you were I'm looking at New Girl.
Yeah. Read your numbers. No. I failed that. Katy Perry. So Katy Perry, you could view it as nonfiction if you think that everything in the movie is real.
Semi-fiction.
But it's more semi-fiction because it's still edited. Okay, three. Kelly,
Fiction,
why?
because it's not real.
Zoe Deschanel, that's not a real
Well,
life.
no, it's not.
No.
No, it's scripted. It's made up story.
Okay. That's not the real life?
No,
What
I
about-
don't think so.
What about number
She was
4?
a 4 boys.
That's as real as it gets.
Okay. Why Matt?
Because, I mean, that's his life. I mean,
Beaver doesn't lie?
he grew up in the mean streets of Canada. And, and now he's here. He's the real deal.
Okay. That'd be more under like the semi-fiction again, right though?
You just see it.
Yeah. You have it? It's really good.
Yeah,
It's out on
it's
DVD?
pretty nonfiction.
Okay, number 5, The Biggest Loser. April.
I'm gonna say semi-fiction because even though they're there to lose weight, it still has some scripted format to it.
How so? Are they faking the weight loss?
No, but they're faking the fights
Yeah.
and
the
stuff like
drama.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Number 6, Glee. Savannah.
Fiction.
real.
So so fictional.
Oh,
No
okay.
one, you guys don't go around the halls singing?
Yes, we do, it's
Yeah.
No, and then, no.
Okay, so you guys have a handle on what is nonfiction and what is fiction. You guys are great. So, what is this all going to? We are going to be starting this unit off with The Story of My Life, which is an autobiography written by Helen Keller. I'm going to read you guys the beginning of the first chapter real quick, and then I want you to listen and maybe jot down while I'm reading a few of the characteristics that show that this is a nonfiction novel or story. Chapter 1. It is with a kind of fear that I begin to write the history of my life. I have, as it were, a superstitious hesitation in lifting the veil that clings about my childhood like a golden mist. The task of writing an autobiography is a difficult one. When I try to classify my earlier impressions, I find that fact and fancy look alike across the years, like the links that pass with the present. The woman paints the child's experience in her own fantasy. A few impressions stand out vividly from the first years of my life, but the shadow of the prison house are the rest. Besides, many of the joys and sorrows of childhood have lost their poignancy, and many incidents of vital importance in my early education have been forgotten in the excitement of great discoveries. In order, therefore, not to be tedious, I shall try to present in a series of sketches only episodes that seem to me to be the most interesting and important. I was born on June 27, 1880, in a little town in northern Alabama. The family on my father's side is descended from Caspar Keller, a native of Switzerland who settled in Maryland. One of my Swiss ancestors was the first teacher of the deaf in Zurich and wrote a book on the subject of their education. Rather a singular coincidence, though it is true that there is no king who has had a slave among his ancestors and no slave who has not had a king amongst his. My grandfather, Caspar Keller's son, entered large tracts of land in Alabama and finally settled there. I've been told that once a year he went to Philadelphia on horseback to purchase supplies for the plantation, and my aunt has in her possessions many of the letters to his family, which give charm and vivid accounts of these trips. My grandmother Keller was the daughter of one of Lafayette's aides, Alexander Moore, and granddaughter of Alexander Spotswood, an early colonial colonel general of Virginia. She was also second cousin to Robert E. Lee. So, who can give me some examples of how this is nonfiction? Ashley.
Well, she said this the history.
Okay, but anybody can kind of say that, can't you? So it's a clue, but you gotta look for, yeah, okay. Cassie.
She uses I and my when she's writing, so she's writing in the first person.
Okay, but does first person have to be just,
No.
no, okay.
She uses concrete examples about what's happened in her past and her family's past.
Okay,
It was
do you
including
remember,
dates. I think she used dates at one point.
she used her birthday,
Yeah.
which you can look up. Does anybody else remember anything else she specifically pointed out? Tegan?
She gave an example of evidence. She said there's some letters that people wrote to each other, so she could show that to like prove what she was saying.
Okay, Savannah?
She gave us some of her like family history that we could, look up.
Okay. Anyone else?
She
Kelly?
said the word autobiography.
That's usually
Yeah.
a good one, yeah.
Yeah, that word is pretty serious.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to continue reading this over the next few weeks, and you are all going to eventually write your own personal narrative, which is going to, it can stem from your journal entry if you want it to, but we'll get more into that tomorrow, and that's it.